Hi, I'm Nyesha McCauley, and you're watching AccessTV.org.
Everyone, and welcome. And I went to a program last weekend. I had a very good time, and it's the name of the function was The Many Colors of a Woman, and that's how I met my guest for today. And what I want to do is I want to welcome Miss Alicia Cosby, and welcome to my show.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And also, I want you to tell our viewers about what you do. You do so much. Oh my goodness. And we were talking earlier. So just tell our viewers what you do.
It's always such an interesting question. As an adult now, what do you do? Well, I do wear many hats. A lot of people know me more recently as a on-air announcer at WEIB 106.3 Smooth FM radio, and we're in Northampton, Massachusetts. However, we have a nice solid presence within the greater Springfield area and also an increasing presence in the greater Hartford area. And so I'm often, in addition to my on-air radio duties, other things like hosting some of the jazz events, for example, Greater Hartford Festival of Jazz. Recently, the Many Colors of a Woman Jazz Festival, which was wonderful. So I am on radio, and I've been on radio for about 12 years now. I also actually got my engineering degree at Tuskegee University, so my degree is in mechanical engineering. And I actually worked at Hamilton Standard at the time, a division of United Technologies that's now Hamilton Sunstrand. And then after that, I worked in the Springfield school system, teaching math and science, and later on social media for about 12 years, still while doing radio. And currently, I just accepted a position at the Greater Springfield, the YMCA of Greater Springfield, as Vice President of Membership and Marketing. So in addition to that, I also write. I've performed for several years. So I do perform spoken word poetry. I've danced for a long time. To do a little singing here and there, like earlier today. And am soon to add author to that as well for a book that I'm writing.
Oh, wow. That is fantastic. Yeah. Well, what I want to ask you is, really, how did you get into the radio business?
Interestingly enough, I was that person that always had something to say about everything. So when I was in high school, one of the colleges that's in the Springfield area had a radio show on Monday evenings. And so I would go on as a teenager and talk about different issues during this teen talk show. Mm-hmm. So I always was comfortable pretty much in front of the microphone. But music, I just grew up with music all day, every day. It was just in there. The radio station, incidentally, is a creation of my mother, Carol Moore Cutting, and she's the only Black woman independently owned and operating an FM commercial radio station. Very, very few in the country.
Oh my goodness.
And she didn't buy it. She started it from ground up. And being a good daughter that I am, considering my parents helped pay for me to go to college, I jumped right in and helped out on air promotions, a little bit of sales, some marketing, and some other operations, and just kind of jumped in. So that's technically where that came from. But the music part and the love of music has always been there for me. So it really was a natural fit. And, I got to help family.
Yes, you sure do.
Yes.
So I hope some of you out there have been listening to, or start to listen to that channel.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I got to check it out myself.
Yes.
Also, you do a lot of singing too.
I've done a little bit more singing now recently. Some opportunities have opened up for me to sing a little bit. I in addition to singing at church throughout the years, but being able to perform with some bands has just been really a dream come true for me. That's kind of like been on the bucket list.
Okay.
To be able to perform. I'm serious.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, just to be able to sing and do a little bit with just with a voice, and so that's really been nice. I'm very thankful for those opportunities.
Oh wow, that is so fantastic! I tell you, you also write several publications, including the Beautiful Inspired Women magazine. So how did you get into that one?
Let me see. There are two publications that I write for currently. One is Western Mass Women magazine, and that's print, and that's in the Western Massachusetts area. However, we are going to be venturing out into the Hartford area as well. The other magazine that I write for is an online publication called Beautifully Inspired Women Over 40.
Yes.
So that one, being a woman that's over 40, I really try to form very inspirational and empowering articles based on a plethora of topics, just kind of whatever comes to my mind. Did a few interviews and wrote those for publication as well. Recently, Nikki Carr, who's a comedian with ties to Western Mass, was in the top 3 of the last comic standing on NBC. And so having known her for several years, I just connected with her and said, hey, Nikki, let me do an article on you. So she was, of course, on the cover. And this is during the height of her being on Last Comic Standing. So that was very, very, that was fun. But I have a lot to say, like I said.
Yes, you do.
And so the power of the spoken word is important. And I really feel like we need to all be able to be inspired and be able to read something, and something that's not going to make you feel like, oh my gosh, that's out there. But being able to empower people to make positive changes in their lives.
Yeah. And speaking of the spoken word, you've done Check One Box.
Yes. I've written spoken word throughout the years, poetry, ever since I was pretty much junior high and high school. And Check One Box is a piece that I wrote, and it challenges the notion of race and who's what. Why do we check what boxes that we are, and not just people who might identify as multicultural or multiracial, but people who might be perceived to be one thing, or people who might be told they're too dark to be an ethnicity, or they're too light to be something, and kind of challenging the notions of what race is, a social construct, how we define ethnicity, what boxes we checked and why, and then also the notion of colorism and why, or shadeism, doesn't just affect the Black community, but it affects a lot of different communities, and the whole colonialist mindset that causes us to think that lighter is better and darker is not. So, but I took that and began to, after I would perform it, people would come up to me like, oh my gosh, that story speaks to me. It's just like my life story. And the people who were coming to me had such diverse backgrounds. They were like, one person A and person B had nothing. Their stories were so different, and yet they both were relating to it. So I said, I need to start collecting these stories.
Yes.
And so I've been collecting them and putting together an anthology based on personal reflections of strangers, people that I know, family members, all about race, ethnicity, and colorism.
Yeah, the one that struck out on me, I was just listening to it, and the racial profiling that you were talking about. Yeah, and also, why can 5 women go to a makeup store, makeup counter, and buy the same foundation color, and it was natural beige, right? And you spoke about that, so I advise everybody to check that out.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was very, very good. Oh, and upon that, I tell you, you're going to be doing something with this Check One Box.
Yes, the book should be out. I'm shooting to be finished and going to print, and going to the editor within about a month. So pulling it together, getting it out there. I've already been asked to speak at various high schools, colleges, which is what I do, often, as far as, like I said, my previous background in education, the things that I do and involve with in the community. I often am asked to participate in events and talk about different issues, and so that being one of them, because race is not going away.
No,
how
it's
we
not.
define race is not going away. How race has changed throughout the years and who is what is different. So that's not going anywhere, but we have to come together and get a dialogue started because it's the pink elephant in the room. People don't necessarily want to talk about things that are uncomfortable, but we have to talk about them and at least get to the point of being able to understand where some of this stuff comes from, the history behind it, and put it into proper perspective. So.
Okay. So when you're putting something together like a book and you want to get it published, what are the steps?
First of all, you start writing.
I mean, afterwards,
That's important.
Yeah.
You have to connect with, obviously, editors, publishers, and start to lay down the framework for your promotion, which I really started to do even before I really started collecting, people's reflections. Social media is a huge hit.
Yes.
Obviously, you want to be able to get out there and get people to understand and that you're there. So, you're able to connect with those that have done it and either go through a publisher or self-publish, which is always a great option as well, depending on how extensive you feel like your own ability to promote is.
Okay. And what I understand is that you're going to be turning this book also over into a documentary and
The
doing
goal,
a stage play. Yes.
The goal is to turn it into a stage play as well as a documentary, because I feel like, again, the rules are changing. The census basically changes every 10 years on what the distinctions are between what race is and ethnicity, and is Hispanic, Latino a race, or is it an ethnicity now? And it's changed several times in my lifetime. So, how do we talk about this? What's going on? So I think it's all important.
That's very interesting. Yeah. Wow. And also, how long do you think your documentary is going to take, or when are you going to start your documentary?
Realistically, I'm probably looking at a 5-year plan.
Okay.
Realistically, because time is flying by kind of quickly. So it's like I turn around and it's like, oh my gosh, 10 months have gone by. Where did it go?
Yeah.
So realistically, probably about 5 years. Within 5 years, I'll say.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm shooting for maybe about 2017, 2018.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now I want to talk a little bit about your engineering background.
Sure.
So what made you want to go into engineering? Because I work with a bunch of engineers.
I'm sure you do. Incidentally, I, for most of my life, was really interested in architecture. I still am in interior design, and so most of my high school classes were on the technical side as far as drafting and the design part. I went on a college tour for engineering, and I began to realize, people were like, oh, I can do some of the same things, but engineering is a lot more... There are a lot more opportunities in engineering, and then at the time, you're thinking, how can you get paid?
Yeah.
So there were economic advantages for becoming an engineer as well. After I completed my engineering degree and began to work with United Technologies, I realized that engineers basically use math and science to solve problems, and a lot of it, although I was not really as interested in the math, science, design part, truth be told, but even project engineering and the skills and the abilities that I had and wanting to stay on point with project management and tracking of things, all of that is considered engineering. So I was like, I could do this.
Yeah, yes. Takes a lot of time, and I see them, like the engineers at where I work at, they have to track the projects.
Tracking projects, but that's a good life skill.
Yeah.
It's a life skill.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Well, now it is.
You're also active in dance too?
Yes. I've danced pretty much all of my life, for over 36 years or so. I danced with Frank Hatchett, who recently passed away, but is well known throughout the dance community in the Springfield area, of course, and beyond, worldwide. So I danced for a long time, everything, tap, jazz, ballet, lyrical, point, ballet, African, lyric, all of it. That's what we had to do. So dancing has always been near and dear to my heart, forever.
Do you ever choreograph any dance?
Absolutely. I have done that often, and I'm asked sometimes, to still put a piece together, either at my church, a lyrical, liturgical number, or I've been asked to perform other places as well. So
I like
I love to dance.
Dancing is
Absolutely.
very good.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So basically all the arts. It's so interesting. It's like, how can she have been an engineer and then be like a writer, performer person? I'm equally left brain, right brain. That's what I say.
Wow. Oh my gosh. You got so much going
on.
And
acting, all of it. I just love it.
Okay. So have you ever acted on Broadway or anything?
Not on Broadway, no. But within our region, we did a performance. We did a tour for colored girls who have considered suicide when the rainbow was enough. So I did that. There was a performance in the Springfield area from Dream Studios called Children in the Playground. So I've done some of those things throughout.
Okay.
throughout the past several years as well.
Okay, Dream
Yeah.
Studios, I know. Yes,
Yeah.
I've been there.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, very good gentleman up there. I can't recall his name.
Benjamin Smith.
Yes.
Yes.
Very nice gentleman. Very nice. And I just want to go back to the jazz for a
Sure.
second. What is your famous jazz song?
Oh my goodness. This is now so not cliche. I have so many favorite songs. It's literally ridiculous. If you listen to the show, I'm like, that's one of my favorite songs. Oh goodness. The Girl from Ipanema. I mean, I love
Oh, yeah.
just literally very, very recently. Joe Sample recently passed away, so he was one of my favorites, jazz
wow.
pianists. So I literally have too many favorite songs to mention.
Okay.
I really
Alrighty.
do. Too many favorites.
Well, I like different types of jazz.
I
too.
love so many different types,
Oh
from
my
international,
goodness.
Brazilian, Latin jazz, and
Okay.
all of it, all the above.
The jazzy remixes and the smooth jazz.
Yes, I play a Nat King Cole remixed in there, and
Oh, you do?
and Billie Holiday with a different producer behind her. So everything is mixed together, and it's very jazzy and funky.
Okay.
Yes, it
oh my
is.
goodness.
Yes.
Well, later on in our second half, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you, how did you get involved
Sure.
in the program that we had last week
Yes,
of the many colors of a woman?
that's right.
Okay. So we will be right back.
Hi, I'm Janice Fleming, and you're watching AccessTV.org.
At Hartford Public Schools, we care about one thing above all, the future of our kids. That's why we're dedicated to providing all students with the knowledge and skills needed in the new global culture. Hartford Public Schools is thriving. More student success stories, more world-class facilities, more university and corporate partnerships, more amazing talent coming and staying in Hartford. This is how education is supposed to work. Welcome to Hartford Public Schools, where the future is present.
Welcome back. Oh my goodness, I had just such a good time in my first segment talking to Miss Alicia Cosby. We were talking about so many things. Oh my God. And she does like poetry. Oh my goodness, she sings, she dances, everything. And she's also a radio personality on WEIB 106.3 FM out in Mass.
Yes.
Okay. Welcome again.
Why, thank you.
You're welcome. Also, I want to include that she's also a motivational speaker. Now, how did you get into motivational speaking?
By just speaking. Evidently, when I would end up just speaking about whatever issues were on my mind, people would be motivated.
Yeah.
And like I said earlier on the other segment, I always have a lot to say about something.
Yes.
And so as life just brings you issues and obstacles and great things and challenges, how do we get through those things? How do we speak to them? How do we even sometimes grieve through them? And so, my own life experiences have taken me on, highs and lows like everybody else. And so I think that in addition to just wanting to help others and just be a positive force for other people and just an encouragement, it just ends up happening like that people might ask me to either MC an event or to be a guest panelist or to be a speaker at an event. Granted, I also have been in ministry for 25 years, so my own background, and my own faith walk propels me to automatically want to share that, just because I can say, how did I make through various situations and circumstances? It's not just because, oh well, things just happen. No, there have to be some decisions that are made to how we go about looking at life and perceiving the obstacles and challenges that lie before us. So I guess that's where it started. It just,
that's good.
Me being me. I can't say I can point back to a date that said, this is when it started. No, it's just, it's always been who I am. Just, I consider myself more of a positive person. I'm not a person who sticks my head in the sand and acts like things don't ever happen. Of course they do. But how do we address the challenges that life brings us? Hey, you really kind of have two options. How do we move forward and just keep on living?
That's right.
So.
That's right. What motivation would you give a person who also wants to be a radio host or a radio personality that wants to go on a radio show?
Interestingly enough, like I said, my background is I did not go to communication school. I would not tell anyone don't go, but I'm just saying that a lot of people who might be in radio have not necessarily gone to a broadcasting school. However, I'm a firm believer in education, clearly, because I not only was I in education for a long time as a teacher, but I also was a student for a long time to get a degree. But it is important. The skills that you learn are very well rounded if you're going through school. But it is a lot of times positioning yourself, getting to know people, networking, being at events. It's very helpful if you like music.
Yes.
It's helpful if you like the music that you'll be presenting. I can't really necessarily imagine myself being in radio at a station where I did not like the music, which is rare. I like most music, but it's very helpful when you really enjoy the music that you're bringing. So getting to know people, being available at even willing to do things not paid to get started sometimes. That's just, people have to test you out. That's just the reality. So getting to know people, marketing, and just being around live venues and seeing, hey, is there an opportunity to even host an event? Is there an opportunity just to announce even at an event?
Oh my goodness. Well, also you've been doing some media ministry too.
Yes, yeah. Actually, at our church, I do record the video announcements, and I've done that for a few years. And then for part of it is voiceover. But so that's been something that's very, it's been an outgrowth again as our church expanded with the video broadcast. That opportunity was there because being able to speak and not being afraid of the camera is helpful.
Yes, that's true.
It's helpful. But I also administer social media sites because that's, again, very important, especially now in 2014 and beyond, having a social media presence. So I admin several Facebook, Twitter, Instagram sites, and
oh my goodness,
just help to put a variety of content on to help draw attention to the sites and be able to, in the case of a ministry like at our church, being able to provide a mixture of empowering scripture for the day or video or pictures, announcements about activities and ministries that are going on, all of the above.
Yeah, that takes a lot of work.
It does, but it's like, you can do things in a way that is just kind of, I guess the more you do it, the quicker you can be about it. So it might be like 15 minutes and like 10 minutes and several announcements are done and up there. So
well, that's good.
It gets easier.
Yeah, I like playing with the little graphics myself.
They're fun.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. And actually, you just taught yourself to do the graphics and whatnot?
I have done graphics before. I've done graphics with layout of like programs.
Like for the engineering too, right?
Not even so much with the engineering part, actually, but that was in putting together program books of different activities that I was involved in throughout high school and a little bit in college and beyond. But laying out graphics and just doing that part has always been interesting to me. And everything, house design, along the architecture, the interior design portion. That's always been important to me. So actually for a little bit of time I had a business, Cosby Creative Designs, where I would do staging and layout and take blank spaces and make them very comfortable. Yeah, that's always a challenge. I love taking a very plain space and making it feel a certain way. So I like that kind of stuff as well.
Okay, what would you like to do that you have not done?
God has blessed me so much. I've just done I've really over the past couple of years been able to really do some of the fun things that I've wanted to do. I do look forward to traveling more eventually, but that's always exciting.
Yeah. So hopefully when you go out more to do some more actually to host different things that you're asked to do, you'll be able to travel.
Yeah, it's very fun. I love Connecticut. Connecticut has shown me so much love. And that's just right around the corner.
Yeah, it is. It is. And how did you get involved in the Tuskegee University?
Well, but incidentally, both of my parents went to Tuskegee. So as a child, we would go down there for the homecoming occasionally and being able to, my father's a veterinarian, so the veterinary symposium. So we would go down several times that I remember throughout my childhood. I have family, my mother's family is pretty much all from Alabama originally. Oh, wow. So I was already kind of used to Alabama, going down as a kid during the summer times, staying with Nana and then visiting the campus. Now, granted, I came about my pre-college years during the time of the Cosby Show and A Different World.
Okay.
So the whole Black college experience, although I did apply for other colleges, including Dartmouth, and just to kind of see if I could get in Carnegie Mellon and some other schools. But I always knew Tuskegee was going to be the place.
Okay.
Because if college was anything like A Different World, I was trying to be there. So it was a wonderful experience, lifelong friends, and I pretty much tried to be involved as much as I could.
Oh my goodness gracious. One other thing I want to ask you, how did you really get involved with the connection of the many colors of a woman? Now, who really asked you about this program? Nikki Mathis.
Nikki Mathis. Now, Nikki, she sings sometimes in Northampton at, I want to say, a Monday Night Jazz event. And so when we connected and she reached out to me, and like I said there at the event, if Nikki asked me to do something, I'm going to do it, including a little impromptu dancing.
I like that. I like that one. Oh my goodness!
A little interpretation to a phenomenal woman on the spot.
Yes, it was good. It was good.
You know, like I said, I have such respect for her, such tremendous respect for her as a vocalist and a community member and performer, and having this event for 27 years.
Yes.
Having done 34 jazz festivals. Yeah, if she asked me if I can help out, if I want to be involved in any way, shape, or form, absolutely. There, I was there, ready to host MC, whatever you need me to do.
And everybody, they missed a treat if they did not go. I like that lady who had the cape on. I couldn't recall her name, but she was going around. What was her name?
Antoinette.
Yes. Oh, something. she was going. Oh my goodness, I love all the songs that she sang. So when they put on another one for next year, I'll let everybody know.
Please do.
And I like everybody to attend. Yes. I had a very fabulous time. And actually, you are a woman of everything almost. And that's good that you know how to multitask that way. It's really good. It keeps you busy.
It keeps you busy.
Yes.
But I actually have now kind of, people say, oh my gosh, you're so busy.
Yes.
Well, I really actually now am kind of preferring the word productive, because I have been busy before. I have just done things because, someone asked you to do something, you want to do it. But now I found that I'm a little bit more productive. So time management is crucial.
Yes, very important.
And learning how to, what is urgent, what is essential, and what's important but not urgent. You know, what things can be done while you're just laying there in bed and just and what things need to be done sitting at a desk. So just learning how to take time for yourself, above all. And then, I also kind of live by the mantra, well, basically, if God allows me to do something, then the provision for time has already been in there.
Okay.
So even like today, I happen to, quote unquote, here I am, I happen to be in New Britain. So an hour or so later, need to be in Hartford. I can't make that stuff up.
Okay.
So when I say, I'm really, really, blessed, I say that and I mean that.
Yes.
I'm very, very fortunate.
Oh, and I was so happy to meet you, because when I met you last week, I was like, I got to run up and talk to this woman.
You're so sweet.
And that phenomenal woman thing was really nice. It was cool.
I'm glad she asked me to do it.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Oh boy. So did you have to practice any, or no? You just go ahead and did it, girl.
Being impromptu is something that you just learn how to do.
Okay.
I don't know. I've learned how to do it just by dancing. Sometimes I've been asked to dance throughout the years and didn't exactly have choreography, but you just kind of feel and go in the moment. And so having been familiar with the poem by Maya Angelou, Phenomenal Woman, as it was recited, basically kind of just flowing with it. It's just flowing with it.
Yes, and I do miss Maya Angelou. I'm so sorry.
Oh,
she
absolutely.
Passed away. She was
on so many fronts and so many levels. She was, and her spirit still is. She is a phenomenal woman, and she's overcome so many things. She's always inspirational to me on so many levels. And I did I'd say a very extensive Facebook post about her when she passed, just about how much she inspired me in my various multitasking and my various many hats that I've worn throughout my life. I looked to, she helped me do so many things.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm glad she was your inspiration. Oh, that's a good thing.
I could think of worse people to be inspired by, but Maya Angelou is a good one. I mean, obviously I have many but she clearly, in the things that she went through in her life, has been an inspiration for many people, not just me. But I know when things are personal, things are personal.
Right, right. And now that you work at the Y,
yes,
too, do you actually work out there too?
Here's a beautiful thing about what I do. I just recently accepted a position as vice president of membership and marketing for the Greater Springfield YMCA, or the YMCA of Greater Springfield. We serve 14 towns and communities. We have 4 Y centers, many learning centers. And so, yes, no matter where I am, as I travel from center to center to center to help grow the membership and do the marketing, help with the marketing, everywhere I go, there's a fitness center. Everywhere I go, there's a gym. So it's like, how awesome could that be that, you start working, go to the car, get your bag, and there you are in your own gym. Your office is your gym. How cool is that?
But you have free parking, huh? Yeah. And that's one good thing. Yeah. And actually, I just wanted to comment of when I went on the website today, it was check one box, and I noticed you were a little bit heavy, but she did a fantastic job of losing weight and keeping it off. Yes, and exercising is one point, and keeping healthy.
It is. Like I said, I've always been a dancer, and so at a certain point in time, it was like, you know what, 4 kids later, there's no excuse.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh, you look great for 4 kids later.
Thank you. So you realize that it's time to get your body back. And it's just, it's who I am, and I've always been a fit person, but life happens, and I'm not exactly where I plan to be, but I'm a little closer now than I was before. So day by day, step by step, that's where the motivation comes. You can do it. You can do it step by step.
Right. And either way, I tell you, you still look beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. And for anybody from the Massachusetts area that wants to get in touch with you, can you give them the information?
Absolutely. I think, honestly, the quicker way is on Facebook.
Okay.
But my email address is mediaqueencosby@gmail.com. So Media Queen Cosby. However, I am also on Facebook, Alicia Cosby, ALYSIA Cosby. And Alicia Cutting Cosby, I have a site as well. So
she's got 2 of them.
And check one box on Facebook also. So I admin a lot of sites.
Right. She's got so much. And actually, just stay in tune and listen to WEIB 106 FM. And I want to thank you, Alicia, for just coming here.
Thank you so much for the invitation. I really, really appreciate you and your time and coming over and talking to me.
Oh, no problem.
At the Jazz Festival.
Okay. And don't forget to watch it, like it, and share it. See you next time.